On August 9, 2012, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Internal Administration of Portugal jointly passed Act No. 29, introducing the residence permit for investment activities, or in Portuguese acronyms known as ARI, and also known as the Golden Residence Permit, or GRP, which was officially implemented on October 8, 2012. For the purposes of obtaining ARI, the minimum quantitative requirements imply at least one of the following investments in Portugal: either a capital transfer with a value equal to €1 million or above, or the creation of at least 30 jobs, or the purchase of real estate with a value equal to €500,000 or above. The above investment shall be maintained for at least 5 years. The status of the Portuguese Golden Residence Permit is granted in the form of a Golden Residence Permit card. Applicants are entitled to an initial 1-year permit with subsequent 2-year renewals, or easier known as 1 + 2 + 2. Subsequently, on January 25, 2013, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Internal Administration of Portugal jointly signed the special regulations on the improvement and promotion of the right of residence granted to nationals of third states, hereinafter referred to as the Order, amending the October 8, 2012 bill and allowing citizens outside the EU that meet any of the following investment requirements to apply for a Golden Residence Permit. Now, these include either a capital transfer with a value equal to €1 million or above, or the creation of at least 10 jobs, or a purchase of real estate with a value equal to €500,000 or above. At the same time, the above investment shall be maintained for at least 5 years. The order also stipulates that upon renewal of the residence permit, the applicant will be required to provide evidence that the applicant has satisfied the minimum domestic residence time limit. That is, the applicant needs to stay for a cumulative or continuous period of 7 days in the first year and 14 days in the following 2-year periods. Now, one of the most convenient ways to apply for the Portuguese Golden Residence Permit is to purchase local property worth at least €500,000. Now, the investment amount is the purchase of the property, which should be at least €500,000. As for the property types, these include residential, commercial, industrial, or agricultural land. Now, there is no limitations on the amount of real estate that can be purchased. An applicant can buy one or more properties as long as the investment amount is no less than €500,000. Applicants can also pool their funds to purchase more expensive properties as long as the total investment amount for each applicant is at least €500,000. As for the terms of the real estate use, well, the applicant has full and permanent ownership of the property and all of the rights therein. There are no restrictions on residing in and or leasing out the property. Now, the Portuguese Golden Residence Permit Act provides the following conditions for approval. The main applicant needs to meet the following requirements: at least be 18 years old, be a non-European citizen, purchase private health insurance, have no criminal record, and purchase property. Dependents who meet the following conditions are eligible to apply for the Golden Residence Permit in the form of family reunion: a legal spouse, children of the applicant and or spouse under 18 years of age, or disabled children under their guardianship, minors adopted by an applicant following a decision made by the relevant authority of the country of origin, and provided that its legal framework comprises the same rights and duties of natural filiation, and provided that such decision is confirmed by the Portuguese government. Adult children over the age of 18 that are unmarried and economically dependent on their parents and still in school furthering their education. Dependent parents of the applicant or applicant's spouse. And minor siblings, provided they are under the custody of the applicant in accordance with a decision made by the relevant authority of the country of origin, and provided that such decision is confirmed by Portugal. After the applicant has been approved, the Golden Residence Permit card, hereinafter referred to as the residence card, is valid for 1 year and then renews every 2 years, hence the 1 + 2 + 2. The Golden Residence Permit program is more lenient compared to other immigration programs. The applicant is only required to stay continuously or cumulatively for a period of 7 days during the first year in Portugal and for a period of 14 days during the subsequent 2-year periods. Golden Residence Permit holders may apply for permanent residency in Portugal after they have held the residence card for 5 years, and then the applicant can sell their real estate, which does not affect their permanent residency status. Our Golden Residence Permit holders can apply for Portuguese nationality once they have held the Golden Residence Permit card for 6 years. Applicants who have a Portuguese passport, which is the third most powerful passport in the world, can visit 172 countries and regions without a visa. Now, according to new regulations, the relevant authorities must reply within 90 working days for the applicant's first application and reply within 60 working days for the applicant's permit renewal. Applicants must first obtain a Schengen visa before visiting Portugal to inspect real estate options. The applicant then chooses a property and pays a deposit. The applicant signs the relevant agreements, including the real estate promissory contract, that is, the formal real estate purchase agreement. Then, following the legal service agreement, tax representative service agreement, power of attorney, and other documents. Then the applicants, with the help of lawyers, open a bank account and with the help of tax representatives, apply for a tax number in Portugal. The applicants can then depart from Portugal and return to their country of origin. The applicants need to pay the remaining balance of the real estate purchase and complete the transfer of the public deed with the assistance of lawyers. Applicants will then visit Portugal for a second time to pay immigration fees, provide biometric information such as fingerprints, photographs, and signature, and submit their application documents. Applicants wait for approval of the Golden Residence Permit application. Once the application is approved, and then applicants pay the processing fee of their residence card, which may take 1 to 2 months to process. On behalf of the applicant, the lawyer picks up the residence card from SEF, then mails it to the agency, who then transfers it to the applicant. Applicants may apply for Golden Residence renewal if they meet the following conditions. The main applicant shall provide proof that the property is valued at no less than €500,000. The lawyer will assist the applicant in contacting the Portuguese Inland Revenue Department and the IESS to obtain a non-debt certificate. Applicants are required to purchase private health insurance with at least 2 years of coverage in Portugal, and to meet the requirements of residency, the applicant is required to continuously or cumulatively stay for a period of 7 days during the first year in Portugal and for a period of 14 days during the subsequent 2-year periods, as well as having no criminal record. Now, Portugal's permanent residence status is issued in the form of a residence card. Applicants receive their 5-year permanent residence card after it is issued by the Portuguese National Immigration Service. After the permanent residence application is approved, the applicant can sell their Portuguese property. Applicants can apply for permanent residence in Portugal in the following way. The applicant has held a Portuguese residence card for 5 years, provides proof of financial stability if the applicant has a job, or the applicant can provide proof of employment. Provide proof of residence, so the applicant must provide proof of housing, property, or rental contract. And provide a non-criminal record to prove that the applicant in the past 5 years does not have any criminal history in Portugal. Also, provide proof of taxes paid, so the lawyer or tax representative will assist the applicant in providing a non-debt certificate. And then also providing proof of Social Security registration. Applicants are required to register with the Portuguese Social Security system to obtain valid documents such as Social Security numbers or registered documents. And then the applicant must provide proof that they have reached a basic level of Portuguese. Now, to meet the requirements of residency, an applicant is required to continuously or cumulatively stay for a period of 7 days during their first year in Portugal, and for a period of 14 days during the subsequent 2-year periods. 3 months prior to the expiration of the 2-year residence permit, the applicant must seek renewal and approval of their permit. The applicant can apply for permanent residence 3 months before the expiration of their second 2-year residence period. Essentially, the applicant can seek permanent resident status at the end of their 5th year. The applicants can reach a basic level of Portuguese in the following ways: official proof of language studies issued by a public, private, or cooperative school approved by the Portuguese authorities, academic certificates issued by the Portuguese schools approved by the Portuguese authorities, such as a Portuguese training course at the University of Lisbon, the basic Portuguese test organized by the Portuguese Employment and Vocational Training Council, or IEFP, or by public, private, or cooperative schools. The Portuguese Assessment Institute provides official language assessments for applicants. For example, an applicant can obtain A1, A2 Portuguese certification if they pass the basic Portuguese test. According to Portuguese standards, the A1 level is equivalent to having a basic command of the Portuguese language. Permanent residency status is valid for life, but the permanent residence card must be renewed every 5 years. And permanent residents are not allowed to leave Portugal for a continuous period of 24 months, or they may not leave Portugal for an accumulated period of 30 months within 3 years. Otherwise, the applicants will lose their permanent status. But applicants must meet the 2 requirements listed above to maintain their permanent residency status. But if an applicant who has obtained permanent residence status will be living outside of Portugal for an extended period of time, the applicant's permanent residence status will remain valid, but only if they can provide documentation. For example, if they are engaged in professional or commercial activities, or some social or cultural activities in their country of birth, their status will not be in jeopardy. Now, according to Portuguese Nationality Act, foreigners can acquire Portuguese citizenship through the following ways: through immediate family relationships, such as a minor of a parent who has acquired Portuguese nationality, or through marriage with a Portuguese citizen. You can also receive it through adoption, or if you meet the residency requirements. Golden residence permit holders can apply for Portuguese citizenship using the 3rd method, meeting the residency requirements, if they meet the following conditions: are at least 18 years old, have legally lived in Portugal for at least 6 years, have no criminal record, have a sufficient proficiency of Portuguese. The applicants have not endangered or threatened national security, and they are not involved in any terrorist activities. But it should be noted that golden residence permit holders can apply directly for citizenship without applying for permanent residency first, as long as they have lived in Portugal for 6 years. Permanent residence is not a prerequisite for naturalization. The proficiency of Portuguese, as described in the application condition number 4, can be proven by one of the following ways: earning a certificate issued by a public, private, or cooperative educational institution approved by law, certifying that the holder has participated in a Portuguese language class for at least 2 academic years and has obtained a certified result. Obtaining a Portuguese certificate from a Portuguese public educational institution, or a Portuguese certificate issued by an educational institution recognized by the following government authority outside of Portugal, or passing the Portuguese language exam at the accreditation center of the Portuguese Ministry of Education and Science and obtaining a certificate, or earning an A2 or higher level examination certificate issued by a public education institution, employment center, or training center. There's many advantages of obtaining a Portuguese citizenship. So after obtaining the citizenship, applicants can apply for a Portuguese passport and have visa-free access to 172 countries and regions around the world, including Canada, Japan, Switzerland, Australia, New Zealand, and other major Western countries. They can also live, study, work, and do business in the other 27 European Union countries and enjoy the same benefits as local citizens. The following are the application conditions for naturalization of children born in Portugal. Now, if a child's parent does not have a Portuguese citizenship, but satisfy some of the conditions of naturalization, such as a non-criminal record and a mastery of Portuguese, their child born in Portugal may apply for Portuguese citizenship, as long as they meet one of the other following conditions. At least one of their parents has legally lived in Portugal for at least 5 years, and the child completes the first phase of basic education in Portugal, such as Portuguese primary school, grades 1 through 4. The following are some of the advantages of the Portuguese Golden Residence Permit program. Firstly, the application process is simple and fast. Secondly, one person applies, but 3 generations can benefit. After 5 years, an applicant can apply for permanent residence, and after 6 years, they can apply for citizenship. Thirdly, the application conditions are lenient. No proof of funds requirement, no business background requirements, no educational background or language requirements. The applicants only need to spend 7 days in Portugal during the first year, and only 14 days out of the subsequent 2-year periods. Golden Residence Permit holders can work, do business, and open companies in Portugal. Property rights are held for life, and right now is the best time to invest in Portuguese real estate. Portuguese housing prices continue to grow, and in the third quarter of 2016, prices increased by 7.6%, and real estate transaction volume increased by 15.8%. The real estate can also be sold after 5 years, once permanent residence status is established. Real estate can be rented out, so the rent can provide a stable income, and applicants can also gain value-added returns in the future. And applicants who receive a Golden Residence Permit card can have free and easy access to 26 Schengen countries. Applicants can also benefit from Portugal's many public welfare benefits, including 12 years of free compulsory education. University credits can be exchanged with other European countries, an advanced healthcare system ranked 12th in the world, which is ahead of the US, Australia, and other countries. There's no global asset taxes. Residents do not pay taxes on assets located outside of Portugal. There's a geographical advantage as well. As they're located on the west coast of the continent, Portugal is Europe's link to the world. There's excellent quality of life. Portugal has a long history and vibrant culture. Its people are friendly and warm, the crime rate is very low, and the climate is pleasant. There's a low cost but high quality lifestyle as well. The capital, Lisbon, ranks 134th in the world for cost of living, much lower than most capital cities, while the quality of life in Lisbon ranks 42nd in the world, ahead of both New York and Chicago. Welcome to Portugal, and thank you.